Okay, so in this video, I'm going to show you how to put together our cute little daisy tea light cover. Okay, and as you can see, it kind of pops off just like that. So I'm going to use the same one here, and we're going to begin by taking this piece and just popping it over our tea light. You're going to take these tabs and fold them down. Okay, get them all nice and folded down. And we're going to begin with this piece here. Now, in the one that we have on our website, we actually inked the little tips there just to kind of make them a little more interesting. It's totally not necessary, but you guys can really ink these however you'd like to really give them a really cool appearance. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to begin by just putting 3 little dots of glue on these tabs here. And I'm just going to wrap this around by the little part here where there are no little petals. I'm going to hold that in place and make sure that that just gets a good hold. Okay, now if you do kind of mess up on this, it's totally fine because we're going to be wrapping multiple layers around this, and it's not really that big a deal if it's not perfect. So then we're going to go ahead and actually for this one, we want to put glue on all these tiny little tabs coming off the main part of this yellow piece that we have on here. Okay, and that's just going to make sure that we have a good foundation for the rest of this flower. And so we're just going to wrap that around. And you can actually use your table to kind of get that nice and flush. Okay, and just wrap that around. And mine's a tiny bit off, but that's okay. Okay, and then we can close it up by putting glue here and wrapping it all the way around. You can make it nice and tight if you want. It's totally fine. Okay, and just hold that in place until it dries. I have a little bit of glue globbing out of there, so just be careful with the glue. You don't need too much. Okay, and the next step is, I'm gonna use these purple pieces here. As you can see, there are 3 different sizes. We're going to start with the smallest ones for the inside and work our way out. Now, what we want is, we want the texture side of this AC cardstock to flare out. So we're going to glue it like this, okay? So I'm going to begin by putting glue on the texture side, on just this little open area here. And I'm going to cover up that seam there. And just push and hold that down until it dries, or at least until it gets a good hold. Okay, just like so. And then we can place glue on the rest of this strip, just like that, and just wrap it around. Okay, and just wrap it around. Very simple, quick and easy. There we go. And just hold that in place until it's dry. And I'm not going to start flaring these out just yet. This is probably the 3rd one that I've made. And the more you make, the more you kind of come up with a process for all this. And, there's no right or wrong way to do it. But again, I'm going to go ahead and put glue on the texture side. And I'm going to cover up this seam. So as we go, we're just working our way around. Just wrapping it around that tea light. Our tea light is kind of like home base, and we're using that to kind of guide the paper all the way around. Okay, so I'm just placing glue on the rest of the strip, and as I'm kind of bringing it around, I'm kind of pulling it to make it nice and taut, or tight, however you want to say it. Okay, so that is strip number 2, and that grips pretty quick. Okay, so while that's drying, we can go ahead and begin with the next layer here. And again, just kind of covering up the seam. And they don't have to be like perfectly on top of each other. You can offset them a little bit. You can put them right over each other. There's no right or wrong way. It's just, it's a flower, so it's gonna look cool no matter how you do it. And then actually, if you want, you could technically roll it like this. Kind of like you're rolling nori. There we go. Okay. And just kind of scooch that down a little bit. Okay, so that's what that looks like so far. All right, and the final piece here. Now we want this texture side out, so we're gonna put the glue on the non-texture side on the inside here. And again, I'm gonna just place it pretty much anywhere. Okay, let that get a nice hold. Make sure it's nice and flush with the bottom. And then we can go ahead and place glue on the rest of the strip and just kind of roll it into place. Either way, you don't have to do it this way. You can hold it and roll it with your fingers, whatever works best for you. Okay, and there we go. And now, once we're sure it's got a nice hold, nice grip, you just get in there and start flaring these flowers out, the petals I should say. Super cool, super simple. And you can kind of bend them like that so that they're not all just straight, and really flare them out. Kind of put your finger underneath some of these and roll them over your finger to kind of even, so they're not just completely flat. That's looking really cool. And just smush them down. And there is your tea light. And then of course, this thing should be pretty dry by now. And actually it's not completely dry, but once it is dry, you should be able to pop the tea light out like so, so that you can, use it on a different one if this one burns out or something, so it's not permanent. And there is your flower.
Stay on top of all things Dreaming Tree and engage with us today. Get the latest news and enter in our giveaways on Facebook. Get inspired by following us on Pinterest. Be the first to see our new product launches on Instagram. Do you prefer Twitter? Yep, we're there too. Watch our beautiful product trailers and assembly tutorials on YouTube. For more information, visit www.3dsvg.com. Live, craft, love, and dream.